Ladies and gentlemen, Violent Games here. Today I'm going to be doing some post-commentary for you. Just letting you know that I'm watching this game right as you are. That's literally all that means. I'm going to be talking about multiple things. The game, how I've been having some fun with it as of late. Like, things are actually really looking up in Overwatch. But I'm going to explain some of the troubles as well, like what's been going on negatively. I'm just going to talk to you, really. But I'm also going to give you some additional advice on Tracer and some things I've picked up from the PC community as well. A lot of people might have the notion that the only way to learn about console Tracer is to watch console Tracer. Not necessarily true. I think you can watch the PC players as well and kind of pick up on some of their mannerisms and some of their techniques, but it not necessarily reflect aiming with a mouse and keyboard, though some of the concepts are still universal in my opinion. That's why, for one example, I say PS4 and Xbox One, even though I only played the PS4 version. The medium's similar enough to where I think that they're similar enough to you learn from both of them if you watch my guides, is what I'm trying to say. So without further ado, let's just start watching the game. There might be some moments of awkward silence. I'm sorry about that. I can't talk forever, you know, but let's start off with the first piece of advice. One thing that I picked up from the PC community. When you start a match, I always see these pro players on PC immediately take the back lines and flank routes. When you're playing Tracer, sometimes I don't do this. Sometimes I'll push with the team just to see what I can do. It's actually more effective to start the game without the enemy team necessarily knowing you're there. That way you can kind of get a preemptive strike on the enemy team and then be like, oh, they have a Tracer, by the way. But by the time they figure that out, you might be able to get a few good kills in or start disrupting their team. So always use the back lines and flanks, but with that being said, make sure you don't neglect your team completely. If you see your teammate being harassed by another backliner, for example, you want to kind of jump in and pitch in damage where you can and help them secure the kill. There is nothing wrong with helping your teammates secure kills in this game. There is no such thing as kill stealing in Overwatch. If you think that, then you're ridiculous. Overwatch is definitely a team-centric game, and any way you can help your team is what you should be doing. So, let's just look at what we're doing here. I'm trying to do some backline harassing. I noticed that my teammates just got pushed in. That's not cool. Oh, one little piece of advice with Tracer and Reinhardt. Tracer is actually a really good counter pick for Reinhardt, in my opinion, simply due to the fact that you can get behind his shield so easily, and you can also control spacing. Because Reinhardt is a melee-centric hero, it's very, very easy for you to just keep spacing on his ass and to juke his projectile, that Reinhardt really can't do much to you if you're not being contested. With that being said, you should definitely make sure that you have a 360-degree awareness of what's going on your team at any given time. So, I just died to a Junkrat trap. I did not see that coming at all, but when it happens, it's just so awkward. There's like no noise, you just kind of die. But yeah. Alright. Looks like Reinhardt's playing in a Wambo Cambo. I don't know if that plays into anything or not. We'll see. We'll have to see. But the reason I bring up the Reinhardt point to begin with is because he's actually a very popular pick on console. I've heard that he's losing favor with PC players, but I see him quite a bit. So let's talk about Pulse Bomb now that I just threw one. One thing I learned about the PC Pro players, something that they did that I didn't, is they used Pulse Bomb whenever it was available at all times. The Pulse Bomb itself charges relatively quickly, and more often than not, you'll see these pro players use it to secure a single kill sometimes, whether it's Soldier 76 or whether it's just to do some damage on the tank. And there's another reason you could throw them on tanks as well, is because the enemy team tends to like to group up with their tanks. You can also get some damage off on them or even kill them depending on which hero they are. So throw out your Pulse Bomb whenever possible. There is one measure of caution, though, when it comes to throwing pulse bombs on tanks specifically. instant barrier or instant shield heroes are something you should never throw your pulse bomb at immediately. And when I'm talking about instant barrier heroes, I'm talking about Zarya and D.Va. Zarya and D.Va can throw up instant barriers that will completely negate the damage that your pulse bomb does. So when you throw pulse bomb at them, you want to make sure that they're either on cooldown or you're attacking them from behind. If you throw your pulse bomb prematurely and one of these instant barrier or instant defense heroes gets off their shield, it's going to completely, again, negate your damage and make your ultimate useless. And one of the primary damage parts of Tracer's ultimate is or what am I trying to say? You use Pulse Bomb frequently, almost as a utility. Let me just, put all of what I'm saying into a coherent sentence for you. Use Pulse Bomb as a secondary utility, not like other ultimates from other characters. Like, for example, Genji's ult you might want to use once certain conditions are being met on the field. You're like, oh, they have all their barriers down, time to activate my ultimate and kill all the 200 health heroes. Or, oh, they're really grouped up, time to use Singularity with Zarya and use her ultimate that way. Tracer's ultimate does not behave that way. I actually think using it as a secondary way to deal damage is actually more effective. There we go. I'm sorry that sentence was kind of butchered, but hey, I'm not a freaking news reporter, so I am going to do my things informally as I often do. I think it adds some charm to my channel. You can disagree, it's whatever. I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I don't have time to edit scripts together and write down everything I say, and I'm not a good actor either, so it wouldn't come off as genuine anyhow. Just a little insight into how I make videos. One good piece of news, guys, is, I don't know if you've noticed, but I got a new capture card. I can now record this game at its native resolution, which is 1080p, 60 frames per second. The footage looks gorgeous. Like, guys, I didn't realize what I was missing out on when I was playing Overwatch on 720p. I traditionally did this to make sure that the footage looked really, really good. Or not really, really good, so that it had its native frame rate, which was 60 frames. My old capture card wasn't capable of doing 1080p 60, but it was capable of doing 720p 60, and I thought that having the higher frame rate would show you guys what the game was like a bit better. I was willing to sacrifice resolution for frame rate, is what I'm saying in a nutshell. Gosh, I hate it when that happens. I don't even think that Reinhardt wanted to kill me. I think I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. So, what else is there? Let's see what's going on in the game, actually. I don't have any points that I want to talk about immediately. Oh, one thing I want you guys to pay attention to, and this isn't about my gameplay at this point. Watch how our D.Va uses her defense matrix. This comes into play a lot. Our D.Va is absolutely phenomenal at using her defense matrix. I think this is a great D.Va, and I'm glad I got paired with her, because when I'm playing quick play, guys, and by the way, if I haven't told you already, quick play has been a cesspool of just stupidity, of people not knowing how to use their heroes, of people who just aren't creative enough to understand what the roles of their heroes are, and it's very surprising to me. Maybe it's because of the lack of guides available for the console ports of this game. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I wish I could make every guide for every hero, but the bottom line is it's really hard to right now because of how bad quick play has been. Like, people they're just not remotely good. It's like every round I go to in quick play is like a sweep, you know? Like, either I go into a game, oh, look at that D.Va blocking him off my pulse bomb, or was that whiff? I can't really tell. I think she absorbed it, but I couldn't tell, honestly, in the footage. But yeah, quick play has just been a nightmare, but competitive has actually been really good for me lately, so I'm feeling really up about that, but it's bad news for guides because it's very hard to learn a new hero in a competitive setting. That's where I was going with that. So right, we start the match. I'm already trying to annoy Reinhardt because I know I can. This team has kind of shown me, like, I'm aware of what their team comp is now. I'm like, oh, they don't really have a lot of long mid-range DPS heroes. And as you can see, the soldier isn't really paying attention to me either. So I'm at a very good position right now to just kind of get free damage on this Mercy and just kind of play the game the way I want. It's very weird that soldier's not turning around to deal with me. And I think this is the biggest mistake this team makes. And to be honest, it might be the reason I secure all these kills in the first place. Oh, look at that. I baited Reinhardt into turning around and beelining towards me. That's a great way to secure a pulse bomb, by the way, is at medium range. Get the enemy to turn around and run towards you, and if they do this, you can instantly like secure a pulse bomb on them. Though do watch out for doing this technique on Reaper, because Reaper can just go into Wraith form and negate the pulse bomb. Advice up the ass. So one thing I kind of wanted to mention, or actually I'm going to mention this when it happens. So this does happen in the match. So as you can see, I'm doing some flanking here. I noticed that Soldier is trying to get to advantage point. The reason he's doing this is because he's trying to get rid of our Pharah. I don't want that to happen because our Pharah is bae. She's doing so much damage on the field and she's not being contested. As you can see, I threw out a pulse bomb. Nothing happens. I don't think anything happened, but hey, Pharaoh was able to secure his kill. I'm cool with that. I'm going behind Reinhardt doing the same exact thing I mentioned earlier. Same thing's happening. No one's punishing any of us simply because their DPS heroes are down, and the backlining is just cheese at this point. I think me and Pharaoh are on fire. Like, my god, I've had so much fun in competitive, guys. It's really looking up. And I think the reason I've been having fun with competitive is because I've got out of gold. I was stuck in gold for the longest time. And let me tell you something about gold matches, guys. Gold matches are a mixed bag of potatoes. Essentially, it's like this. Half the people in gold don't know what the fuck they're doing. And half the people in gold, like, know what they're doing, but they're stuck in gold because they get put with bad teams. I was in that position where I kind of knew what I was doing, but I was getting stuck with bad teams. I finally got out of gold into platinum, and the matches seem more consistent now. The skill cap seems to not be as, like, startlingly different. So, like, these even match teams have been really fun to play with. It's just really annoying to play sweeps, like I said earlier. As you can see, they're all putting themselves in that little pinch point. That is a big mistake on their part, because I can just throw a pulse bomb in there and guarantee a kill. I think Lucio got stuck in a corner, and that's why he died, but hey, I'll take it. I'll fucking take it. It's a free kill. Who wouldn't take a free kill every once in a while, man? I know I fucking would. Every day of the week. That gorilla made a mistake. His team was nowhere to be seen. Winston does need a lot of distraction to happen before he can really be viable, in my honest opinion. One thing you might have noticed about how I've changed my gameplay as well is I switched to the dot. I think the dot is my favorite crosshair simply because it shows you where the center of your screen is and that's it. There's no bloom effect that I actually find to be quite distracting. So I actually would recommend you try the crosshair, but don't let it bloom at all. I actually use this with Soldier and with Widowmaker as well, and I actually seem to prefer it as, I don't know, it just helps me track my targets better. You know, I can always focus on the center of my screen. The bloom kind of distracts me to where my bullets are going at any given time. So, I don't know, it helped me to kind of stay centered on my aim. It actually helps me track somehow. I literally think it's a mental thing, but, you know, I think you should experiment with crosshairs and see which one works for you. I've seen a lot of pros use the green crosshair that does not bloom. That seems to be a very common one for Widowmakers, Soldiers, and Tracers alike. But I like the dot. I really, really like the dot. So as you can see, I'm just doing some more work. I see Zenyatta. I go for him early, which was a mistake, but I reroute around the back to negate the damage. And this kind of feeds into the point I'm about to make. When it comes to your counters, McCree, Zenyatta, and Soldier, and sometimes Reaper if he's close enough, you never really want to approach these heroes or start the fight in the front of them and beelining towards them. Especially do not run towards these hero guys. You have to kind of anticipate that each player has good accuracy. This is the easiest way and safest way to play each hero. I don't know how I missed Roadhog. Please don't judge me in the comments section, but that did happen. We're getting past that. But yeah, because these heroes can instantly melt you, but the beauty of Tracer is that even though these heroes counter you, you can still get away with getting them killed. It's one of the reasons I love Tracer so much, and I think that the fact that you can control your spacing so well is why I do so well with her in competitive matches. Being able to bait out Roadhog's hook, being able to keep spacing on him so that he doesn't kill you, but keep throwing out damage on him, it helps you feed your pulse bomb, and if you use your pulse bomb correctly, you're doing massive amounts of damage across the field you otherwise wouldn't do if you weren't landing these pulse bombs. So remember, again, I'm going to reiterate this point. Use Pulse Bomb at nauseum. Look at how easy this play is to make. Just throw my freaking bomb in the general vicinity of Lucio. I seem to hit Lucio a lot with a Pulse Bomb. He probably thinks I hate him at this point. Look, Lucio, I love you, but you're not on my team, buddy. You're not on my team. It was actually meant for Roadhog. It wasn't meant for you, Lucio. I don't know how I didn't die there. I don't know if you noticed, but I was just being flanked by Junkrat. That is usually the way to get rid of Tracer. So whoever switched to Junkrat was actually making good. Actually, he was in the match the whole time, wasn't he? He might have left at some point in place of someone else, but, you know. The enemy team's kind of frantically switching their comp, and it kind of made them lose the round. The other thing I think that made them lose the round is that they didn't effectively deal with me and Farah. So, anyways, that's GG for me. I had a lot of fun playing competitive. I can't wait to play more. I'm thinking about doing live comms, simply due to the fact that it's going to take me a while to do another guide because I have to learn the hero in an unfriendly environment because quick play. As you can see, I'm using the butt pose, the best pose, and I also want to comment on this play of the game. I want you to watch how accidentally MLG this play of the game is. See, I throw this to kill Soldier, but what happens is it hits their Mercy, who then follows up trying to heal their Mei. But because I stuck her with the Pulse Bomb, she flies towards Mei, and it blows her up. It was completely retroactive and so badass. Like, I'm so, like, happy about that. That looks me look like I'm a much better player than I am. But another thing that, if you didn't notice, is that D.Va actually defended me using her defense matrix. That was incredible play by D.Va. That D.Va knows what one of her jobs is, and that is to be a damage sponge. A lot of people neglect D.Va as a damage sponge. They kind of go for backline harasser, or they try to be a DPS tank. Not enough D.Vas use their defense matrix to counter ultimates as often as like that player did. So I was very impressed by that. Anyways, guys, that's all for the gameplay. I'm going to open a loot box. Oh, yeah.
I'll see what I got for Christmas, Bob. Oh, boy.
Oh, I got a rare. Oh, it's that new Zarya skin. It's not a bad skin, actually. It's actually one of my favorite skins for her, so I'm actually kind of happy I got it. I'm surprised no one's asked for a Zarya guide. I mean, I don't like her either, I'll be honest. That's why I don't play her. But anyways, guys, that's all I got for you today. Thank you for watching. If you want me to do more gameplay-oriented things like this where it's kind of more raw, and maybe do post-commentary with tips, or maybe even live commentary, I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure I'm the best live commentator, strictly because when I play a game, I kind of go try hard in this game, and I focus a little too hard, but it helps me play. I'm not as goofy or anything like that, but I can be, if like the right people are with me. But we also have to be in a comfortable environment where we can each play our role effectively. Anyways, guys, that's all. Thank you for watching, for overwatching this video, and I'm pissing off.